Okay guys, on tonight's homework, there's a few things that you're working on. On the first side, you're working on 1 through 4. Here, you're working on naming the angle, and then you're going to classify. When you're talking about naming the angle, you're talking about, is it angle ABD or ABC, or is it angle 1, or whatever the name of the angle is. If you're talking about classifying, you want to know, is it acute, is it right, is it obtuse, or is it straight? That's what you're doing when you're classifying. So you're going to do that on 1 through 3. Number 4, you're finding the value of x in the figure. Okay, x is right here. We don't know what it is, but when we look at this straight line, we know it's a supplementary angle, and that's going to let us know how to find x. Now I'm going to go ahead and work a few of the problems on the other side to give you some examples. Here is the flip side of the paper. So on the first section, 1 through 6, you are naming the angle, and there are 4 different ways to name each of these angles. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to classify the angle for the angle type. So let's look at number 1. For number 1, there are 4 ways to name this angle. I can name it by all 3 letters. When I name it with all 3 letters, the vertices is always going to be in the middle. So it is angle ABC. We could also call it angle CBA. We can also name it just by the vertices, which would make it angle B. We can also name it by the number, so it could be angle 1. So that's our 4 ways to name the angle. Then we look at the classifying the angle. Well, this angle right here, it is larger than 90 degrees. Therefore, it is obtuse. Now, let's go ahead and let's look at number 3. Okay? If we look at number 3, naming the angle 4 different ways. Okay? H is the vertices. It has to be in the middle. So angle GHI, angle IHG. We could also name it just by the vertices, angle H, or by the number, angle 3. Okay, you're going to finish up that section with 1 through 6. Let's look at numbers 7 through 12 to get you a couple of examples. So the directions say, refer to the diagram at the right. Identify each angle pair as adjacent. Adjacent means they're beside each other. Vertical. Vertical means they are directly across from each other, or neither. So let's look at number 7. If I look at angle 7 and angle 12, well, they are right beside each other. They are beside each other. That means that they are adjacent. Okay, let's go ahead and look at another one. If I look at number 8, angle 8 and angle 11, they are directly across from each other. Therefore, they are vertical angles. Okay, that gives you an example of each. Let's go ahead and look at the next section, 13 through 18. The directions say refer to the figure at the right to determine the measure of each given angle. So, some of the angles are given to us. Some of them you're going to have to figure out. So, first let's find out what we're figuring out. If I look at number 13, I want to know what the measure of angle SYX is. So, SYX. We want to know what is the measure of that angle. Okay, well, things that I know about this angle. It's directly across from this angle. That means that that angle SYX and angle UYV are vertical angles. If they are vertical angles, I know they are congruent. That tells me that angle SYX is 76 degrees. Now, let's go ahead and do another one of these. Okay. If I look at number 16 is angle SYX W. So we're looking at this angle right here. We want to know what is the measure of this angle. Okay, let's look at the things that we know. Well, I know that vertically, okay, so we kind of have these two pieces. We have right here, okay, and then we also have right here. When we're looking at this angle, those two angles add together to get us SYW. So let's look at the pieces we know. Well, right across from here, we have 76 degrees. These are our vertical angles. That means this angle right here is 76 degrees. Okay, let's look at what we know right here. This angle, its vertical angle is 40 degrees. Therefore, this angle is 40 degrees. So SYW, those add together. We need to add 76 plus 40 to be able to get our measure. And so when we add those together, 76 plus 40, that's going to give us 116. And so that angle measure is 116 degrees. You're going to go ahead and finish that up, finding how big each one of those angles measure.